All right, gentlemen, you guys ready?
Yeah.
Not really, but yeah.
As always, never ready. Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Hey guys, it's Terrence Mann. You're listening to Hear the Spear, presented by Noel Game Day. Go Noles.
Hey, what's up? This is Peter Ward, aka E-Dub, in the house. We're listening to Hear the Spear, presented by Noel Game Day. Go live, go Noles.
Hi, this is Charlie Ward, and you're listening to Hear the Spear. Go Noles.
This is Terrell Buckley. You're listening to Hear the Spear, presented by Noel Game Day. No Bloody.
But perhaps better known as the greatest corner to ever step on a football field, Deion Primetime Sanders.
Great Deion Sanders, my brother.
What's going on, man? I could wake up to that greeting every day, man. That was awesome.
Hello, Noles fans. This is former Seminole Derek Brooks, and you're listening to Hear the Spear, presented to you by Noel Game Day.
James Wilder Jr. What's going on, James?
Thanks for having me on. SSOD, Florida State or Die, and go Noles.
William Bar None Floyd.
Gentlemen, what's up?
What's happening, guys? This is Logan from Hear the Spear, presented to you by Noel Game Day. We are here on this gorgeous Tuesday evening. It is August 11th, one day away from month kickoff until, let me make sure I said that clearly, one day until a month from kickoff here in Tallahassee and Doak Campbell Stadium against Georgia Tech. We got a lot to talk about tonight. Obviously, a lot of conference stuff going on. We are going to give our thoughts on that. The latest from the ACC, SEC, and Big 12 too. We're going to give our thoughts also on Chapman and Briggs opting out. We're actually going to jump into a full defensive depth chart projection too. We're going to give our top 3 worst fruits to eat. And then we're going to run through basketball. And then FSU trivia at the end. And then we're going to talk about Michael Ojo to start off the podcast, too. As always, you can listen to this podcast on iTunes, SoundCloud, Spotify, Google Play. If you're on iTunes, feel free to rate us 5 stars. We will shout you out on the next podcast. Really appreciate you guys listening lately. We've seen a growth, and we hope to keep it up. Also, later in this podcast, we will be joined by Bryce McGowens, 4-star top 35 recruit in the 2021 class. He talks about Leonard Hamilton and a whole load of other things with his commitment in the number 1 class. And I should say Bryce McGowens. And so really excited about that. And I'm ready to get started. Let me introduce Dustin Lewis, our lead writer and editor, and also our lead basketball writer, Austin Veazey.
Why did it take you a second to say his name?
Because he was thinking Adam.
Yeah, I keep on forgetting Adam and Austin's names. It's just everywhere. I'm screwing everything up. But I want to jump in before we get into everything and, talk football and basketball and whatnot. I want to get into some pretty sad news that we were told earlier over the weekend. Former Seminole Michael Ojo passed after a heart attack, a really severe situation. Michael Ojo obviously was just a huge leader and the kind of really started paving the path. And I'm sure Austin can comment on it too here in a second, but really started paving the path and some really good leadership for Leonard Hamilton and starting to bring up the program as a whole. But it was just really rough news to wake up to and really kind of put a hammer down on anything that I really wanted to do for the rest of the day. I really didn't have a lot of motivation and it was just a crappy day. But I thought, to kind of send it to a positive route, kind of give our thoughts on Ojo, but also, maybe talk about a fun and awesome memory that we had of him.
Yeah, I'll let y'all go first since I've got a lot of Ojo stories. So I'll let you two lead this one off.
Dustin, you go right ahead. You're Mr. Top.
I wouldn't necessarily say it's a favorite memory on the court of Ojo, but really just every time during the years he was on the team, every time walking into the Tucker Center for warm-ups and just seeing this giant human being on the court. I mean, there's nothing like seeing a guy like Ojo. Just huge, muscular, no body fat on him. He was a very, very special guy. Not only athletically, but like we talked about off the court, he did a lot of good things in Tallahassee.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. He was just a big leader both on the court and outside of it. And that's what Leonard Hamilton talked about too in his statement about him, how big of a presence he was, not only just for the university, but also as a town in Tallahassee. But probably my favorite memory, and I'm kind of the same route as Dustin. I remember going to a game when I was younger and just walking in and, all this hype about Ojo being a big, big guy, but seeing him in person, I was like, holy mother F, this guy is huge. How is this allowed? He's going to murder these kids with the amount of strength he has. I mean, he was a freaking giant.
Yeah.
But he was a gentle giant, and that's something that I think is hitting Tallahassee hard. He was just such a good guy. He wanted to learn. Really, I believe him and Coach Ham and Stan Jones probably had a really, really, really a close relationship, and I'm sure Austin has a lot more to speak on it too.
So it's funny. The first person I ever met at Florida State was Michael Ojo. I went to take, how when you're a high school kid and you go and take college visits. He was the first person I ran to on Florida State's campus in the Moore Center. And he's exactly what you think. He's this huge human being, but he's so nice. He's greeting everyone there, saying, "Welcome, Florida State. Really hope you choose Florida State." Then the summer before I started working with Florida State basketball, you have to work the basketball camp. And just so I could say, hey, this guy's a hard worker, so on and so forth. And we're going to lunch. And he fits into this tiny 1990s Honda Civic. I don't know how he fit in, but he did. And he starts leaning over and starts honking the horn on the driver's side just as we're going to lunch. And the guy who was driving was his roommate. He's like, "Come on, Ojo, what are you doing?" And he's just laughing, just having a good time. He really was. He was such a nice guy. And when I woke up Friday to 3 separate texts and a phone call, it's just, like Logan said, it put a really sour mood on my whole day. I remember after we beat Florida that year, he wrote on the whiteboard, we just beat the damn Gators. I tweeted that video out. I don't think the video after we beat Duke went out, but we got in the locker room and he just walks in, plants himself, and says, "There's a new sheriff in town," and everyone just screams and shouts. We were then that summer after that season. We were all taking our summer trip to Jamaica, but he was still in town, just working out, getting ready, trying to make the NBA. And I was working him out. He walks over and says, "Hey, white man, you're going to Jamaica too, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, Ojo, I'm going to Jamaica too." And he goes, "Jamaica's got some stuff down there. You don't want to get in too much trouble." It's just the way Ojo was, and the world lost one of its best down-to-earth people. Everyone he ever came across, he put a smile on their face, made their day a little bit better. He may have been cooking African soul food at 4 a.m. that made his roommates a little bit upset, but he was seriously just the nicest guy.
And he sounded like it too, and interviews and national media loved him. Whenever big games were going on, because they got to sit there and interview him and look how big his shoe was and everything. But he also had a really unique background story, and there's tons of things on YouTube that you can go look up and on the internet that I suggest you do. But Michael Ojo passed on Friday, and our biggest condolences to him, family, his wife. And also the coaching staff at FSU. I'm sure as a program, it's been very tough on them. All right, so let's get into some football to start off the podcast. I'm amped up. I'm amped. We just got some news. This is kind of breaking now. We're doing this live here in the Discord. Big Ten and Pac-12 earlier today decided to postpone their football until the spring. We'll see if that happens. I doubt that's going to happen, but we'll discuss it. But the ACC, SEC made their statements that they are still on track to play this season. And breaking right now, the Big 12 presidents just wrapped up their call. the league is going to continue to pursue playing this season. A schedule which was already prepared will be released in the near future. This is coming from Pete the Mel from his source. So the Big 12, ACC, and SEC are still planning to play. It's game on. How you guys? What are y'all's first thoughts from this?
I think it's huge because now you have the majority of the Power 5 conferences leaning towards still playing football this fall. And, maybe if the Big 12 would have opted out, the ACC and SEC would have felt more pressure to do the same. But now they're just going to keep monitoring the situation, and we'll have to see what happens.
Yeah, I feel like me still being the negative Nancy. Like I'm still doubtful. The season's played.
Get him out of here. Get him out of Discord.
It's just there's so many obstacles to overcome. It's like it's a positive sign right now. They've got 3 Power 5 conferences saying, "Yeah, let's do it."
Mm-hmm.
But I'm still not liking the season's chances.
I feel like a lot of the players and also coaches, mainly the Big Ten, have come out, and Norvell too, after his roundtable with Ron DeSantis, Florida's governor, David Coburn, Florida State's athletic director, and Florida State's president, John Thrasher. A lot of these programs and the coaches are telling national media and local media that their protocols and everything that they've been going through and their scheduling has worked out pretty seamlessly. Everything's been going through smoothly. If guys are getting tested, Florida State actually and Thrasher announced that they have their own testing center now. That will be huge for at least Florida State's side of things. But the biggest thing, is you keep the players away from going home. If you don't have a scheduled system going on with these guys, you either have them going home taking remote classes or partying, and the players admit it too. It's better for them to stay on schedule more than anything, and then you kind of stay in your. It's not really a bubble, but it's a more smoother thing than saying no football. That's not going to happen in the spring, and that's just from my personal side of things. But you're in a system that's keeping you safe, and I think also a lot of parents have been vocal about it. Like Herb Gainer, Amari Gainer's dad said, he supports whatever his son wants to do, and he also thinks that it is a safe route for them to stay inside the program and continue to play this season.
It's just one of those things where, like, it all sounds good in theory, but also college kids are going to college kid. And they want to go out. They want to go have a good time. They want to go eat at Guthrie's or Whataburger at 2 a.m. Like,
that's Dustin.
Nah, it's the average college kid. And plus, these big old linemen and D linemen are going to get hungry. Like,
think about people going out to party and things like that. I mean, even in the NBA, they couldn't even stop Lou Williams. So,
no, he went to Magic City for the food. Stop it.
Yeah, okay.
It's just like it all sounds good in theory. It all sounds good in theory, but like, how long are you going to be able to keep kids away from being a kid?
I don't know. I feel like they've got a safe system going right now, and I think also a lot of the programs, at least they're going to advertise it as, the ACC, SEC, and Big 12 are going to really try to solidify and make sure there's a smooth process going through. Today, I don't really give a damn about the Pac-12, but the Big 10, you got Ohio State and Michigan, those big 2 cats, huge national media college football teams. They're not going to, as of right now, they're not going to play a season. 2 of the biggest stadiums too in the country. They're not going to play at all this season
until the spring.
Yeah, exactly. In the spring, and then they're gonna have probably like 30 players on the team play, and then they're gonna have an NFL combine just shortly after. That sounds about. And then they're gonna play in the fall, right? So you're gonna ask them to play in the spring.
Yeah, I don't know how that would work. That's the thing about postponing football until the spring. How do you play the next fall?
Yeah, no, it's all
like it doesn't make any sense.
That's all BS. I mean, they're just putting it out there to have, hey, well, we'll reevaluate if things are looking better. Yeah, no, and I mean, I don't know.
I think the NCAA is going to have to find some common ground where if Big Ten and Pac-12 want to play, they have to move it up to, let's say, start in December. And then the Big 12, ACC, and SEC move it back to like October, November, just so that there's not this 4-month gap of players being more rested or warming up or however you want to put it.
Yeah, and I also don't understand, you already snap off the playoff situation. I mean, you can't have 2 playoffs. I mean, and it's just going to be the Pac-12 and the Big Ten. So where do you go in there? Are you just playing the season just to play it? Or players aren't going to be a big fan of that, playing throughout a season and not going to want to. They committed to these schools to want to go to a playoff. They want to go fight for a national championship. If you're going to tell them that they're just going to play inside their conference in the spring and just have some fun giddies, tap each other, blah, 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 and not go fight, for, a playoff, tell that to Ohio State players, tell that to Justin Fields, who transferred over there, tell that to Michigan and Harbaugh. I think it's going to start getting nasty here for the rest of the week. I'm expecting a lot of coaches to come out with statements. I'm sure they're writing them right now, because I'm surprised it's been very this quiet. It's going to get ugly soon.
Yeah, and I mean, if the Big Ten and Pac-12 don't play football, does that tarnish the national champion that comes out between the ACC, SEC, or Big 12? Because not all 5 conferences are playing at the same time.
And also, they're going to allow these kids to transfer so that they can play. Like, there's a lot of stuff they got to figure out.
Yeah, I mean, it's all over the place, and the thing is, to be honest, the stuff that's now all over the place is the 2 conferences that are out. That's now directed towards them. They have a lot more to figure out on their ends, a whole lot more. Right now, these teams have their schedules planned. I know the Big 12 is about to announce theirs that we just learned just a few minutes ago, but SEC, ACC, they're ready to roll. Big 12 is right behind them, and they're going to play their season. They're going to get their money from TV ratings. I mean, you got to be happy if you're an FSU fan or dedicated towards, you want Florida State to make some moolah here and there. TV ratings and money rights, or TV rights for these games, are going to be huge for some of these universities, and recruiting. I mean, and that's why you hold hands and you ride with the SEC. That's why you stick with them, right? and also my opinion too, and this is a little too deep, but Florida State lost a really good chance in that March of Madness. Didn't even get a chance in March Madness. Didn't even get a chance in the ACC tournament. And the ACC as a whole obviously wasn't that great this year basketball wise, but still, I mean, Florida State was going to make a pretty decent run, and that was going to help the ACC quite a bit, no matter what. And the universities making some money in March Madness, but that was completely axed. So that's why I think also the ACC is like, we got to make some money back up. We got to go play some football,
Yeah, because to your point about March Madness, even though there's only going to be like 5 teams making the tournament, I mean, that's still a pretty hefty check. And the farther they go, which you had 3 really good teams with Duke, Louisville, and Florida State, and Virginia was getting really hot there at the end, that the further they go, the more money the conference is making. I mean, if you have 2 of those teams reach the Sweet 16, it's a huge bonus for all of them that they didn't get.
Yep. So that's why I'm not surprised with the ACC jumping in and holding hands with the SEC and now Big 12 to roll in there. Just kind of like just holding on and letting SEC take all the hits. ACC kind of just hides behind them, hides behind the big brother there, and is going to try to sneak in and play a season. So there's some positives there. Ending on a Tuesday night, it all could change tomorrow, but things look a little bit more optimistic for Florida State to play a game. We're now, like I said earlier, 1 day away from the month countdown of a kickoff here in Tallahassee. We'll see. I'm sure that we got a lot more to learn throughout the rest of the week. Real quick, we first reported that defensive tackle Jamarcus Chapman would be leaving to opt out from the team this upcoming season for 2020. There's some family stuff there that I think he wants to focus on, from my source that told me. And he's got a lot of things he's got to handle. Jamarcus lost his mother not too long ago, and also he's taking care of his sister too. So there's some good reasons there for Jamarcus Chapman to opt out, obviously. And then also Dennis Briggs most recently had a baby. So congratulations to Dennis. And he has decided also to opt out of the season. So, some both of these guys with some pretty good reasons, obviously. And we wish them the best of luck and safety to both them and also their family members. And is there, and Dustin, I'll ask this one for you. Losing these two guys, is that a major hit? Is it a blow, or shouldn't be too worried?
I wouldn't say necessarily a major hit. I mean, Dennis Briggs was expected to be a top reserve this season, and Chapman would likely be in the rotation somewhere. But luckily, at least on defense, that's Florida State's strongest unit, and possibly on the entire team. I mean, the defensive line is absolutely stacked. So there will be some other talented guys that will be able to fill in where they left off.
Well, let's jump into some fall depth chart projections. We're going defensive. We went offensive last week. You guys can go check that out. We spent about 50 minutes talking on the offensive side of things. So we got Florida State's defense to talk about, which I know I'm personally really excited to talk about and also see on the field here in about a month. But let's jump into it. You guys ready?
For sure. If Austin's not going to say anything.
Yeah, Austin's a basketball nerd.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, he's over here playing 2K. So let's jump in. Fox defensive end. We'll start off with Janarius Robinson. Obviously, now with Dennis Briggs being out, you got to look for someone behind him to step up, and that's going to create a good conversation here. But to start off, you got a guy with experience, Janarius Robinson, coming back. You want to hope to see a little bit more consistency, and he'll be utilizing a lot of different packages too. He's got a little bit more versatility and athleticism to him, maybe more than Kando. As a whole, he can kind of be more shifty around, but Janarius Robinson is your expected starter at defensive end.
Yeah, I completely agree. And with the Fox defensive end, it's going to require the DN to be set, stand up, and also drop into coverage at times. So you're going to need a guy who's athletic and can do multiple things on defense at his position, and Robinson fits the mold.
And obviously, we have Briggs here, but now he's no longer going to be playing in the 2020 season. I want to figure out who could be a young cat that could step up and jump into this rotation. Obviously, you brought in a true freshman, Joshua Griffiths, who I've personally heard some pretty solid things about competitively, and I think there could be some potential there for him. He's kind of more of a shifty guy that has more athleticism than anything. It's not so heavy. Is there anybody that kind of you bring up into your mind, Dustin, that might be able to set in as this role to back up J-Rob?
There's a couple redshirt freshman defensive ends that I'd like to keep my eyes on to see how they perform in fall camp and see if they can wind up in this rotation. And that'd be Quishon Fuller, Derek McClendon, and Curtis Fan. I mean, there's a lot of talent there. All those guys are young. Fuller especially is a guy this offseason we've seen completely transform his body. So he's someone that I'll be watching.
Yeah, I'm right there with you too on Quishon Fuller. Obviously, we're not going to miss out here on Joshua Kando, but trying to fill in have a person that fills in behind J-Rob and the other guys will be interesting to see, because I think there's a lot of young talent like Dustin just referred to. But Joshua Kando on his part, obviously really bad injury last year, coming back from that, but he's always had the hype on him, man. I feel like that's been throughout his whole career. But can he keep consistency? Can he stay healthy is a big thing with Joshua Kando.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I mean, there's always going to be a lot of hype there when you're a former 5-star prospect. So at this point, everyone's just waiting for him to live up to those expectations. And even though he did suffer that serious injury last season, he's now back fully healthy. And he also has 2 years of eligibility remaining. So if he doesn't have as good of a year as he's looking to have this year, he can still come back in 2021 and improve even more.
Stud linebacker position. We were told, source told us that Amari Gaynor would be taking this role, and it seems like he'll probably be the starter on this depth chart to start off the season under Adam Fuller and Chris Marv there at the linebacker position group coach. Behind him, probably expected Kalen DeLoach. There's a lot of young linebackers, which I'm excited to talk about here in a minute. But Amari Gaynor is probably going to be your expected starter. He's put on some pounds too, probably around 20 pounds this offseason. He's worked really well and gaining some strength and kind of working on his lower body because he's always had those stick legs since I played him in high school. So I kept on telling him he needs to squat, do some damn calf raises already. But he looks good. A lot of these guys do. But let's get into some linebackers. Stud linebacker, Amari Gaynor, and possibly backup Kalen DeLoach.
I don't disagree.
Mike linebacker, Emmett Rice, and Leonard Warner. Emmett Rice is probably there's so many players, and I'm getting mad at myself because there's so many players that I'm excited to see. Maybe it's probably because we didn't get to see flashes or anything on film, or didn't get to see him practice wise during the spring. But Emmett Rice has got to be a guy that fans should be excited to watch. He's really worked on his body. I believe I put out a tweet a couple of weeks ago of what he looked like in 2017 against Alabama. He looked like DJ Matthews, and he was recruited to play linebacker. So just kind of put DJ Matthews and linebacker in the same sentence. It's very nerve wracking. But Emmett Rice, there's been some photos coming out, and I've heard all during the offseason he's really worked on his body and building muscle. And Coach Storms has set him right. He looks like a linebacker finally, and I'm expecting a pretty decent season out of him. He's probably one of your hardest hitting guys, except for who am I thinking? Grant. So yeah, Emmett Rice and possibly your backup there, Leonard Warner.
Yeah, I think Emmett Rice is in line for a starting job at one of the linebacker positions. Jaleel McRae is going to be in contention for that other spot, along with Leonard Warner, who's a veteran at this point, a senior this year. So we'll just have to see. Personally, I've got Emmett Rice at Mike linebacker, and then I've got Jaleel McRae starting at Will linebacker. But Leonard Warner could work him way in that starting lineup. I was just going a little bit of a youth movement.
Yeah, and we were told during the offseason that Jaleel McRae was going to be moving from a Mike to a Will. He's shed off some pounds, looks good. And so his backup, of course, second position will be Mike, his original position where he came into FSC to play. But Jaleel is going to be moved more out at Will. And then possibly to back him up, if we're going youth movement here, it could be Steven Dix Jr., which we've heard a lot of good things about. I don't really want to talk about him too much because I feel like I've just been talking too much about him here on Discord and also on the podcast. But now that we're getting film and getting videos at Florida State,
tell them the weight changes, Logan. Tell them the weight changes.
The weight changes are incredible for Steven Dix. Steven Dix
We already
Jr.
you know it off the top of your head. Just say it.
I know. Steven Dix Jr. has gained 25 pounds since arriving on campus in a matter of a few months under Coach Storms. Insanity. And it's going to go to show whenever Austin and Dustin keep on making fun of me. It's going to go show whenever Steven Dix Jr. blows out Sam Howell's back in half.
Whoa. Whoa. I was going to go a different way with this.
We can hardly hear Austin, so we might just need to get him a new mic.
You had to say blow his back out.
Well, blow his back off. I don't know.
That's what you said.
Jeez.
Not well, all right, let's blow it out for like a game, or not a game, but let's blow it out for like a series, but then he can come back in. Then he can come back in.
Different.
I could have said something worse, like break his leg or something, but damn.
I would have rather you said that.
Dustin, that was the worst thing you could have said.
Dustin said something way worse last week,
and that would have been way better.
No, hell no.
This was worse than the fact that we had to cut it. This can stay in.
Yeah. As long as he's not, I doubt he's listening. His dad might be listening to this, though. It seems like his dad's a little freakatoid. He kind of gets in on everything. But yeah, Steven Dix Jr., I am stoked about. I'm all about hitting people. I'm all about big hits. And when you think about Florida State linebackers and big hits, I'm thinking Buster Davis. I'm thinking Ernie Sims, Nick Moody, even Northrup. I'm thinking, and Derek Brooks going back, Shade Tree. This is what you're starting to see, and this is what Steven Dix Jr. is going to bring to the table. I also think these other cats, McRae and DeLoach, have these factors too, and DJ Lundy too,
and J.L. McCluster.
McCluster, and then Glenn too is here. But Steven Dix is just a different one. I mean, it's just kind of a different feel I'm getting. I feel like kind of Coach Marv is kind of going to set him to be his son, and then just send him to the NFL. Maybe he'll give him some money at the end of it all. But Chris Marv is going to develop this cat into something nuts. I'm feeling it.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's going to be nasty. And really that whole trio of freshman linebackers coming in, there's a lot to like about all three of them.
Wait, were y'all thinking I was talking about blowing backs out? I was talking about Sam Howell.
Yeah, we know what you were talking about.
Okay.
It was
No,
the way
it was-
the way you worded what
Oh,
you said.
now I know what y'all are talking about. Oh no.
Yeah,
I know. I was thinking y'all were worried about like the injury thing, but no. Okay.
No.
Okay. Now y'all took it a different route because y'all are too immature. Unbelievable. I'm the most mature one here.
Yes, because we're the only ones that thought that.
I'm the youngest one here and I'm more mature. Unreal.
Look at this comment in Discord. LMAO, Logan's talking about blowing people's backs out.
Then another person said pause. Like,
Yeah, not a good look here on the first live recording. This is why whenever we do the subscriptions and you come here and you have the tier to come listen live, this is what you get. I mean, this is
it was worth it.
Yep,
And
Logan
trust
will
me.
blow your back out for free. Actually, no, you have to pay. You have to pay.
Okay, Dustin, can we mute him in here and we can just move on? I would mute him, but Austin, is a basketball nerd and probably doesn't know half these players. Let's see here. Let's jump into the DB unit, which
Did you completely just skip the defensive tackles?
No, we're gonna do that. We're gonna do those. We're doing those at the end, cuz. Oh yeah. Well, I want to.
How does that make any sense?
I want to do defensive line last. I want to do the defensive ends.
But we already did.
Yeah, you did,
Right.
J-Rod.
We did
Yeah,
defensive
I don't
ends, but
know,
not D
dude.
tackles. I want to do the interior guys at the end because that's like the cream of the crop right there heading into the season.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? Get some positives to end it off. Let's see. Cornerback Asante Samuel Jr. First of all, Dustin, let's just give our predictions right now. Who are going to be the starting corners heading into the game against Georgia Tech? Let's just do it right now.
I mean, obviously, Asante Samuel Jr. is pretty much going to lock down one spot. And then the other spot, I mean, there's going to be some competition. You've got Akeem Dent moving down to cornerback. You've got a grad transfer coming in Miko Dotson, who led the country in interceptions a season ago. And then you've got a very talented true freshman in Demore Tate, who should be able to compete for immediate playing time. So I'm really excited to see that battle. I've got it playing out with Dotson on top just because of the veteran experience, but I think Akeem Dent and Demore Tate will certainly get a lot of snaps too. And whenever Florida State goes to like a nickel set with 5 DBs on the field, I think Dent will be that 5th DB.
Yeah, and the thing is, we're not getting to see a lot of these guys. We haven't seen much from Travis J and Akeem Dent to start off practices. So really what we have to work with here, and I hate to say it, these transfers that Adam Fuller and Norvell are bringing in are giving really good competition. The guys that have been here under veterans under Florida State. I'm really impressed by Miko Dotson. I was hearing really good things about Jarian Jones while workouts were going on, and guess what happens? To start off practices the first week so far, Jarian Jones is being talked about. So I think it's great comp, man. And they have, Florida State fans should also feel pretty optimistic if coaching's done right under Woodson. Is that your best defensive backs are going to be playing no matter what, because the competition, I think, is probably the biggest on the team right now.
And there's some really good defensive backs on this team. And I mean, they didn't show it the last couple of years, but I think with a top-notch defensive coordinator and Adam Fuller and a good defensive backs coach in Woodson, we're going to see some of those flashes.
Yeah, just any kind of better, just something. I feel like me and Dustin could have been out there coaching the DBs last year, and we might have had a little bit more progress then.
They might have put me in with the way those rotations were going. I've been like, I don't know, but all right.
Yeah, that would be the last of it all. Oh, God Almighty, and see Dustin running out there. But you're right. You probably could have been put out there with the way some of the selection was going for guys that were covering these cats in the slot. Oh, Lord have mercy. But that is gone. We have already talked about the last 2 years. We are talking about the future. So yeah, there's a lot to like about this defensive back unit. I am really high on Asante Samuel Jr. by and get away with it. But during our producer meeting earlier, you said some pretty, I don't know, they sounded pretty harsh about Asante Samuel Jr. I don't know if you want to address that in front of the people that we have here in Discord and also to this podcast that goes out to thousands of people.
Yeah, I mean, all I said was I think that Asante gets overinflated a little bit by the Florida State fan base.
Okay.
And
that was not what you said, though.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty much what I said.
But it's not.
I don't think he's as good as people think he is. Like, if you put Asante and Greg Reed up against each other, I'd take Greg Reed every day.
Well, okay, now come on now.
In the producer meeting, you compared him to Tavares McFadden, and then Levante Taylor.
I may have said a couple things like that.
Like the kids call it.
Do you have that on recording?
Yeah. We got this on recording right now.
Yeah, but do you have what I said earlier on recording?
No.
Oh, I don't know what you're talking about then.
That's all right.
That's how it works.
That's all right. Oh well. Well, I do think Asante Samuel Jr. is going to be one of the top 3 best cornerbacks in the ACC. So
he's got to have more than one interception if he's going to be in.
That's all Dustin cares about. That's all Dustin cares.
Okay, Tavares McFadden had 8 interceptions. What was it?
It was his
It was his second season.
Sophomore year, I think.
And then his last season, he was a complete
He was trash. Yeah.
Interceptions don't mean anything as long as people aren't catching the ball. That's all that matters.
I just want to see him make more plays on the ball.
And if you're not
he did have 14 pass deflections last season. Yeah, that's worth pointing out.
If you're not hearing about him a lot, that's probably a good thing too. That's the way I thought about it when the 2013 guys were in playing DB with Williams and Darby. Sometimes I would forget that Darby was playing that night, and I'm like, well, that was complete lockdown. You're doing your job if you're not really talking about it. But of course, interceptions are great. Travis J should have had 18 of them last year to
Akeem Dent.
Akeem Dent, my bad. He should have been making up for and taking care of Asante Samuel Jr. in that route. But
yeah, Akeem Dent had 9 pass deflections last year, and all 9 hit him in the hands.
Both hands.
Well, technically, all pass deflections hit him in the hands.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. They were all catchable.
They're all catchable.
But yeah, that is the defensive. Those are the corners, guys. Yeah, corners. I know that there's too much talent here. Moving on, your buck and weak side safety. This is where it kind of gets interesting to me. Jaden Lars Woodby obviously is probably going to be expected to be your starter. Brendan Gant. We've heard some really solid things about him. A lot of things I think for Gant has been more mentally and kind of, a little bit more discipline there will help that. Obviously, last staff didn't really give a flying F what you were doing. But I think with a little bit of really some discipline for some of these guys is really going to change the way they play and excel on the field. It's going to be as simple as that, and you're going to be able to tell off the first quarter what big difference that's going to be. And then hopefully we'll get to see a little bit of Travis J, obviously coming from Madison County, a guy that I've wanted to see since last year get some PT. Hard-hitting guy Travis J could be there to kind of give some rest to Jaden Lars Woodby.
Yeah, and I mean, I think Travis J is a guy you can really slot in anywhere in the secondary, but he's just so talented. You've got to find some way to get him in the rotation. I mean, somewhere. Anywhere. Put him at defensive tackle. I don't care.
Whoa. Yeah. I mean, you could. If you go back and look at his tape, guys, one of the most physical guys that I think is coming into FSU. When I say coming, because we didn't get to see him last year, but Travis J. I'm fingers crossed. We need some Travis J in our life. We need it. I'm telling you.
He's just a playmaker, no matter where you put him.
Yeah, and you can even utilize them, offensively, special teams too, which is crazy. I mean, he's kind of just one of those cats that can do it all. Let's see. Let's jump into strong safety before we go into the defensive tackles conversation. I'm not going to say it again, but another guy I'm highly looking forward to watching. Is that better than saying another guy that I'm excited to watch? Hamson Nasruddin is going to make his comeback. It's unknown, though, if he'll play, depending on his recovery, if he'll play the first game or two. They might want to keep him out until the Big Cat Daddy against Miami. But Hamza Nasruddin is going to make his comeback into the fold for Florida State's defense. One of the best tacklers in the country. Might have had a chance to go pro this last season. He was absolutely obliterating Florida by his
before
own.
that injury.
It was pretty much the Hamza Nasruddin defense against Florida. He was the only one that was doing anything.
It's been that way for a little bit.
Yeah, that is true. But Hamza Nasruddin, a cat that is going to be reckoned with this upcoming season. To back him up, this is kind of a projection here. No spring, but Raymond Woody III, who during practices, man, the last two off seasons and camps, Raymond Woody always seems to be a guy that is in here impressing and coming away with takeaways. So Raymond Woody and Cyrus Fagan will probably be your two cats that will sit behind Nasruddin this upcoming season.
Yep. Plus your guy, Jarian Jones, who did get his waiver for immediate eligibility. So he'll be competing right there as well. And I'd be interested to see who starts if Nasruddin doesn't, begin the season in the lineup. Does that mean FSU potentially moves Dent back to safety until he comes back? Or do they just roll with maybe Jones as a starter? It's something to watch.
Yeah, no, I think the toughest job for Woodson is figuring out where these guys will fit the best, because you're working with supercars everywhere. It just depends on which one's going to fit the right racetrack. And I just made that up on my own right there.
That was nice.
You like that? I just made that up all on my own. I might trademark that. But his toughest job is figuring out where these cats are going to go. So much talent, man.
Oh, and we also forgot about Renardo Green, who was working at safety.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Renardo Green, and I want to mention Jarian Jones too, but we talked about
so many guys.
Where do they get set at? I don't know. I really don't know. That's the toughest part for this DB coaching staff under Woodson and assistants, is just figuring out where they're going to fit the best. And that's why I think this season starts off really nicely for Florida State, because they'll play a pretty decent ACC foe with Georgia Tech, but then they get to jump into a Samford game and maybe start, kind of getting stuff sealed up and figured out before they have to face Miami. There's just too much stuff, too many guys with talent that they're going to have to go into a game or two to figure out where they fit the best. Speaking of talent, we're going to get into the defensive tackle position group to finish it off for the defensive depth chart projection. Big Marv, obviously. Marvin Wilson projected to be a early first round guy. Comes back for his season along with Tamarion Terry on offense. But Marvin Wilson is ready to hold down this defense and come with a nasty mentality, it seems like. In the interviews, he's been talking about that he didn't just come back to fool around and all this kind of stuff. That this has been business, and he came back and he came back to play football. So look for a really, really, really strong-minded guy to start off the season with Marvin Wilson. It really depends on who you're going to put around him, but you get the mob back. That's what they call themselves: Marvin Wilson, Robert Cooper, and Corey Durden. Now you figure out, who to put around them. But Robert Cooper, Corey Durden, and Marvin Wilson, what a nasty tandem to bring back after one season working together.
No, I agree. That's a three-headed monster right there, and they're all going to play a ton of snaps. I think it makes sense to get Marvin Wilson and Corey Durden in that starting unit, so you just have your two most talented defensive linemen together on the field, but Cooper's going to see a ton of time. Then you've got the Mississippi State transfer and Fabian Lovett, which a great pickup by the staff to get him in here to shore up the depth even more so. There's also True Thompson, who got time last year. Louisville transfer Jarrett Jackson, redshirt freshman Malcolm Ray. I mean, this is another position where the talent is just everywhere. There's so many guys on here who have started and in the future will start games at Florida State.
Yeah, and I'm really excited for Corey Durden too. I do think, he has, when he talks his talk on Twitter, I think he's got it's worth it to back it up. I mean, he's got it out there on the field. And Corey Durden could be a guy that really shoots up and becomes a nasty defensive lineman and end off his career if he's expected to go. Could end off his career as a really good defensive tackle career wise. Now we figure out, Robert Cooper should shed off a lot of pounds. Still a big boy, but it's good to see some of these videos coming out aren't in full pads yet. But Robert Cooper looks smooth. He looks faster. And he's still one of the strongest players on the team. Another guy that's one of the strongest too, right behind him or right next to him, is True Thompson. And there's been a lot of interest to see, does he have what it takes to really run through and be a big cat and be a factor on that defensive line. And then there's also Fabian Lovett, your transfer from Mississippi State. Florida State fans were really happy that he was able to get his waiver granted. He looks like a big cat too. I'm ready to see him and Marvin Wilson line up in some packages together because, man, that Florida State really did a good job on making sure they built some depth and some transfers. And Fabian Lovett looks like he could be a true factor in helping Marvin Wilson and these other cats get some rest. Don't want to talk about Fabian Lovett, Dustin? Are you scared of him?
Sorry, bro. I'm over here trying to figure out what's my 3 worst fruits.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
That's all what we got coming up next.
But, yeah, that is the defensive depth chart projection. We didn't have a spring to go off of, but that is the defensive side of things. And man, I just as a whole, I'm really excited to see these guys. I think there's a lot of good competition and definitely that DB unit, and a little bit, and a good amount in that linebacker unit too. I think it's going to be a strong unit under Chris Marv, and I'm stoked to see this defense hit the field. And we'll see if Florida State and Adam Fuller can raise the bar and bring this into being a top 25 defense. Should this be a top 25 defense, Dustin?
Maybe.
That was weak. You got to go one way or another. Show that you have some balls, buddy.
Nah, not quite.
Wow. Okay.
Not too far off from 25, but not quite that much of an improvement in 1 year.
Okay.
Maybe 2021. Maybe not.
Okay. We'll let it go. All right, so let's jump into our top 3 worst segment. We do this every week. We pick out the top 3 worst in every segment. It'll be food. It could be like shows, movies, sports, desserts, everything. So candies. But let's jump into it. This week, it's top 3 worst fruits to eat. Fruits to eat. And I think we talked about earlier, it might not be the best group to really talk about fruits because they don't really...
It's the worst group.
They had to look up what fruits to eat. Like what ones they eat, so they don't even know what fruit is really.
I mean, I know what
I wanted to get a consensus list so I could be like, oh yeah, that one sucks.
I don't know, but who wants to go first?
Who went first last week? I think Dustin went first last week.
I thought I did.
I don't think I went. I went first last week.
I think I did.
Oh yeah, because I said Dustin and then he didn't have anything. So yeah, Dustin, go.
Oh yeah, my mic was on mute.
Look it up.
Dang, I only got one though.
Well, get out the way.
All right. My number 3 worst fruit, pineapple. Especially if you get...
You're capping.
It's not a bad choice.
Bro, especially if you get a whole ass pineapple, how you get in that thing?
Oh my lord, that's not what we're talking about. Talking about putting it in your mouth and tasting it.
If I put it in my mouth, it just burns my tongue and I get scared.
Okay, God Almighty, you're really showing yourself like this in front of live people too on Discord. Ugh. No,
already got roasted.
Pineapple is one of the top 5 best fruits. It could be top 3. Could be top 3.
It's middle of the road to me.
It's not for me.
Yeah, well, a lot of fruit isn't for you, so that's no surprise.
I'd rather eat a lemon than a pineapple.
Ooh. I mean, I like the taste of lemons, but it's just the fact of eating a lemon.
I mean, I'm not going to eat the whole thing.
Well, okay.
Eat a whole lemon.
Yeah, just like I want to eat
Take a little bite.
Orange.
Oh, man.
Aren't you supposed to eat a whole orange?
Yeah.
But a lemon, you don't have to eat the whole thing.
All right, I'm gonna go up next. You're we're going into a route.
All right, go.
Dude, this is my number one, and it is a fruit. Coconuts are dog.
Oh,
shit.
yeah. That's
Coconuts are disgusting. They taste terrible. I hate it when they put it with freaking chocolate and all that kind of stuff. It's absolutely disgusting. It should never be allowed. Yeah, no, it shouldn't be allowed anywhere. I don't want it on. I don't even want to smell it if we're doing like lotion stuff at the beach or anything. I don't want to smell coconut anywhere. It's just nasty.
What's your opinion on coconut water?
Hell no. Like I said,
just
like
solid. That was just solid.
What? You drink coconut water?
I went to Whole Foods and they gave me a coconut.
What?
And
they let you in there?
All right. Anyway, they gave me a coconut and they just put a straw in it and you just drank it.
Isn't that never mind.
Coconut milk, coconut. Apparently, there's a difference between coconut water and coconut milk, which doesn't make any sense to me.
Ugh.
And also, coconut's another one of those. I guess it's a fruit. How you get in that thing?
You got to hit it, man. I don't know. I don't really want to fight to eat fruit either. Like that's probably one of the biggest things. Like if it's already cut up for me, then yeah, I'll probably have a better chance of eating it. Like my percentage will go from like 50% to 60%, but I'm not going to sit here and like cut up apples and stuff. I don't have any time for that. Sorry. Hate to tell you, but not going to happen. Who's up next?
I'm going up next.
Oh, yeah.
So coconut was going to be my number 3. So I'm gonna have to go a little more the funny route. Passion fruit, and it's literally just because I hate the Drake song.
Passion fruit. Passion fruit?
Yeah, it's actually real.
I think I've heard of it, but I don't know.
It's not. To be fair, it's not good, but the song isn't much better.
Oh, you're going after a song too.
Yeah.
Oh God. Oh yeah. God. Yeah, you're a basketball guy, so you do like all that. Yeah, whatever. Austin, all right, bring us back around, baby. Relay us back. What do you got for your second one?
My number 2, avocado. It's not.
Is that a fruit?
It actually is. According to the website I looked at, it is a fruit.
I think it is too.
It's just it's a weird fruit.
Yeah,
it's got that ball on the inside. It's just weird. I don't like it.
You don't like eating anything that has balls on the inside of it?
All right. No.
Okay. I'm just asking. Just wondering. Sorry. Jeez.
Preferably not.
Yeah. I don't blame you there. I mean, I actually have started to like avocado more now that I'm grown up, and I guess I like a lot of foods, but avocado's kind of been always weird for me. Is that what they put in guacamole?
Yeah.
And I don't like guac either.
Okay, because I just now started liking guacamole. So yeah, I'm kind of right there with you. I'm 50-50. Let's see here. Is it mine? No, it's...
It's you.
Okay. My next one is just going to be... I'm going to try to get some good debates going on here. Cherries.
Oh,
man.
That was my number 1, jackass.
Wow.
I think there's a lot more obviously worse.
Cherries suck.
Like fruit, but
I'm
definitely
kind of surprised
cherries.
you're not alone on this.
They're just why? Like, why do I want to eat those? Like, I don't know. And plus I have to spit out the thing all the time. Like, it's another thing that I have to work on, which it's fruit. So why don't I just go get a burger and fries like Dustin? But I don't know. The cherries. What'd you say, dear God, or thank
God?
No.
And then the cherry ruins the milkshake. Like when you go and get a milkshake, you put a cherry on top. Like, no, I don't want the cherry.
Well, yeah, true. And then, I'll sometimes. Nah, I don't really want it. But the best thing I would say for a cherry to do is try to tie it, and try to tie it with a female. Like try to tie the stem.
Yep. Here we go.
What are you saying? Here we go, Austin, because that's what you use in multiple lines on Tinder. On Tinder, is that bringing back bad memories for you, Austin?
Dustin, you're number 2.
Kind of threw me off there. You took cherries. My number 2 worst fruit. I'm gonna say kiwi because it just looks like a nutsack and it tastes pretty sour.
It looks like a nutsack and tastes pretty sour. Have you have any past experience with nutsacks, Dustin? Or no comment. Good to hear.
I'm thinking about what to reply to that.
Usually, trying to find his new number 1.
Yeah, that's what he's doing. He's literally.
Oh wait, I gotta go again.
Yeah, you gotta go back to back.
Oh yeah.
Dude, you took cherries.
2 months.
Said pineapple already.
Dustin's nervous.
All right. This one wasn't gonna make the list, but since you took cherries, now it has to make the list, and people are gonna be really upset. But I'm gonna say watermelon.
Whoa!
When it's not in season. Because the watermelon in the summer doesn't compare to the watermelon the rest of the year.
No.
So if you're eating watermelon right now, it's okay. But in a couple months, it just tastes like water. It's not even sweet anymore.
Someone please attack this man. What is happening in front of our eyes?
Go get a damn watermelon in December and tell me how that shit tastes.
I will, and I'll eat it live on camera here inside the Discord.
Dude.
Look, we have people now deleting the Discord.
I wanted to say cherry, so
it's not going to get better with my number 1 when we get there. I'm letting you know now.
I mean, we've got people deleting the Discord now, right before we jump into subscription and the Patreon.
I was going to say plums, but I've never honestly eaten a plum, so I can't say it.
This was the worst idea, marketing-wise, to do a Hear the Spear before live.
Why would you do fruit?
Yeah, fruit was a bad one.
I don't know. I didn't think watermelon would be told in the top 3 worst fruits. There's so many different kind of fruits out there. It just goes.
Let's see what yours is.
Okay. Mine is going to be nice and simple. It feels like pomegranates. Are you eating pomegranates? Have you eaten one pomegranate, both of you, in the last 5 years?
You could have asked 21 years. I would have said no. Actually, I'm 23. You could have said last 23 years.
23. Oh my god! This kid forgot how old he was. Dustin,
it's been a long day.
I mean, dude, if you see a pomegranate at the store, the only reason you would buy it is if you want to have a hard time. I know you're not buying it to eat, bro, because it takes you have to do all this shit to actually be able to eat a small amount of pomegranate. I forgot about it.
Ew.
I would have said that instead of watermelon. I forgot about those.
Well, guess what? You didn't do your research enough. You don't know how to do 3 things at once. So I took the advantage of just looking up top 3 worst fruits, and it just reminds me of how nasty these were. I feel like pomegranates, though, are kind of just for decor during Thanksgiving or something. I don't know why, but I feel
also, I want to honorary mention, if tomatoes are a fruit, then tomatoes are my new number 1. They suck.
Grape tomato. Wait, let Austin go through, and then we'll give our honorable mentions.
Oh God, people are typing.
Yeah.
It's not looking good for you. I'm letting you know.
Just get done talking.
It's not gonna get better. My number 1 worst fruit, bananas.
Oh,
hate them.
What is happening with you, both of you?
Okay,
you're gonna get us canceled. There are our Patreon members.
It's one of those. I think we've established that I'm a texture eater, and I cannot stand the texture of bananas. And I don't like the smell. They smell horrible.
What's that little stringy thing that comes down the side?
No, it's not it. It is not it.
Oh my!
I will say I prefer a banana if it's cut up.
Even then, it's
I don't give it. Oh my god! There go all our Patreon members.
Oh god!
For an honorable mention, yeah. For an honorable mention, because this was gonna be my number 1, but I didn't know if it counted. Cranberry sauce. They only serve it once a year at Thanksgiving, and it's horrible.
Yeah,
If it's only served once a year, it's for a reason.
Yeah, no, it's dog dookie. I don't eat that either. That and applesauce. Ew.
Oh god.
Yeah, applesauce isn't it either.
Yeah,
That's another texture thing.
that's disgusting. I mean, this is just disgusting. Thinking about it, I don't know if it's just a texture, and then I don't know. If I want to eat an apple, I'm gonna eat an apple. I don't need to be crumbed. I feel like I'm eating bird. Like I'm getting fed by a bird if I'm eating apple sauce. I don't even know how to say it. It's so
It feels like
disgusting.
it feels like baby food.
Yeah. And what's your another? You got another honorable mention, Dustin?
Dude, no, because people are gonna get pissed.
No, please do it.
They can't get more mad than bananas. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
All right,
that was.
I'll say peaches, dude, because I can't deal with that fuzzy shit. Like, and it's not even that good. Oh God.
The Discord chat is just absolutely just slamming you right now. Oh my goodness. This might be our. Yeah.
Funny story about peaches. When MJ Walker first moved into the players' dorms, like we usually help the players move in. The first thing he grabs out of his car is like 10 packs of those peaches that are in the little pouches. Just 10 cases of them. I'm like,
Oh my gosh.
Odd.
That's hilarious. Peaches are good. They're actually really good. So I mean,
Well, he must have brought some good peaches because he came in from Georgia.
Yeah. True.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it was like the little Dole packets. It wasn't even like fresh peaches. It was the little Dole packets.
Oh, like what, little small ones or something?
Yeah, the little small cups.
Yeah.
Oh, well then, he was hungry.
Yeah. Hungry man. Any other worse fruits here before the Discord? Everybody leaves.
They were already about to get canceled. Let's move on.
Yeah, that might do it. I love how we're doing this the day before Patreon goes live. Awesome. Let's see here. All right, so let's start off. We got a little FSU trivia to end off.
Oh God,
we got basketball.
5 FSU. Oh yeah.
Oh, oopsies. Actually, you know what we need to do is throw everybody into the Bryce McGowens interview. I say we do that right now. He joined us to talk about Leonard Hamilton, the number 1 class for the 2021 Florida State basketball recruiting. And I think, too, you know, Bryce is a really big competitor, and you're going to hear a lot about it in this interview. We really enjoyed him coming on here to talk in front of live people, too. But yeah, here's Bryce McGowens, Florida State 4-star 2021 top 35 recruit. All right, guys. We got a big-time special guest with us this evening here on Hear the Spear. We've got top 35 4-star guard Bryce McGowens with us this evening. How you doing, Bryce? Happy to have you here, man.
Yes, sir. I'm doing real good. Thank y'all for having me.
We talked. We've been chatting about it. You were pretty excited just a couple days ago. I mean, Florida State lands another talented cat with Worley and 5-star. Just right off the bat, I want to ask you, you know, how does it feel with this class? And we'll get into it later in the interview. But you seem pretty hyped up about Worley committing to FSU.
Definitely, you know, because being a big guard coming to FSU, you know, his scoring ability, his length, you know, everything that FSU basketball is about. Hard work, you know, I feel like me and him can, you know, be really special in the ACC and outside of the ACC.
I also want to ask you too. You know, we've interviewed plenty of guys both on the basketball side and football side, but this has been a wild year for everyone that's related to sports and training. But what has it been like for you in the summer circuit and everything that you're working on?
Yeah, definitely. See, over this summer, you know, we haven't played a lot of, you know, games. We've had one tournament, so you know, I've just been working out. You know, I've been in Dallas working out with Tim Martin. I've been in Atlanta a lot with working with Key, he's Brandon Ingram's trainer. So it's just, you know, a lot of workouts, getting in the weight room, you know, picking up on stuff that I didn't have before, and just taking this time to get better.
Speaking of getting better, you're currently sitting top 40 in the 2021 class. You had a 65-point game in the playoffs right before COVID. Do you see yourself maybe moving up the charts, or you don't really pay attention to it?
I mean, everybody looks forward to having a top rank, but at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. It's about how hard you work, and it's really the end goal.
Your senior season is on the horizon. Have you been given any indication on what the season will look like for high school basketball?
Yes. Well, I know some. Since I'm going to Legacy Charter next year, I know some prep schools. They're like Huntington Prep they've canceled their season, and we had them on some. We start in 2 weeks. We start over the we're starting online, and then we'll go back and we'll do 2 weeks of online, and then we'll go back to school, and then we'll start workouts then. I'm pretty sure we should have a season.
That's a good sign for you. I know your fingers crossed on your end. You definitely want to have one after your season last year. But I want to get into a little talk about Leonard Hamilton here with you, Bryce. And you committed to Florida State earlier this year. What sold you on Coach Hamilton as a coach? But what was he like during your recruitment too?
Definitely. He was a huge part of my commitment, because he'll come to a good amount of games, but he'll sit like in the top corner. He won't be like trying not to be seen. But yeah, he just keeps it honest with me. He keep me honest, and that's the main part. I don't want anybody to sugarcoat anything, and be sweet with anything. I just want them to be honest, so I can work on my end just to be a better person, better player, and help others around me.
When you visited Florida State earlier in the year, what stood out most to you about not only Florida State but Tallahassee too?
Definitely, my first visit, I went to a football game, and it's just the atmosphere was good. But I mean, I don't know how the football team is, but yeah, when I went, it was good people. And then on my official visit, we were at the Notre Dame game, and the atmosphere was great. And just people, like all the people are good, like from the president to the students to coaching staff to players. I just love everything about it, and I felt at home.
Outside of Coach Hamilton, which coaches on the staff have established the best relationship with you so far?
I would say Coach Smith, because he was recruiting me heavy when he was at Clemson. And then he got a coaching change, and he went to FSU, and it just kept on clicking from there. And, FSU has always been like my dream school, because I know what they are capable of and will have accomplished. And I'm looking forward just to accomplishing much more than what they have already.
Are there any current players that you have a pretty good relationship with? I know I saw a couple weeks ago you're working out with Phil Kofer and Jarquez Smith, so it's good to see you have that relationship with former players. But what about current guys?
Yeah, me and John, we've been wanting to in the state since middle school, so we've always had a good connection, and we used to play AAU ball together with Team United when we were in about middle school. So we've always had a South Carolina connection. And then I worked out with Matthew in Atlanta over this past summer, about a month ago. And we're just competing, and we're going at it, encouraging each other. And I just felt like I was like, I gotta have it. We gotta have him on our team. But Jalen Worley, it's just really like social media thing. You know how it is. Y'all know how it is. It's just just recruitment over the phone, really. Yeah.
And speaking of Worley too, I believe that the staff told you that you were being recruited to play point guard. Has that changed at all now with the addition of Jalen Worley?
I would say a little bit, but because we both can play the 1 and 2, so we're just two combo guards. We can handle the ball. It doesn't really matter. It hasn't changed.
Because I know when I was with the program, they've really been trying to move towards positionless basketball. So seeing both you and Worley that can handle the ball, and even Cleveland can handle the ball quite well, it hasn't surprised me. But I was interested to see if they had told you anything different with Worley committing.
No, they haven't. They've always been, 100 straight up with me. So no, nothing has really changed. And also having John, he can stretch the floor. So yeah, it's definitely positionless basketball.
Bryce, your father Bobby played at Clemson, and your brother Trey is currently at Nebraska. What advice have they offered you as you prepare for your move to the collegiate level?
Right. It's just, my brother, he, both of them keeping God first and staying humble, and he'll take care of the rest. But you still also have to, keep at it. He said, and they're just, just being humble and staying, in the Word of God, and being, have to be organized through college because you have classes to practice to, the games. So you just staying organized and always being ready.
Was it tough to turn down your dad's alma mater, Clemson, when they really started recruiting you, or was it? You mean you mentioned earlier that FSU was your dream school, but did you always know it was going to be FSU?
I wouldn't say it was always FSU. I didn't know I was going to end up here at the end because I didn't have an offer at the time. So yeah, I would say it wasn't hard turning down Clemson, but Clemson being a hometown school, probably just being close to home, having Coach Smith there, who was recruiting me pretty hard, and then he went to Florida State, the school I love. I was like, yeah, it's wraps now.
Including yourself, FSU currently has 5 commitments. How often do all you guys stay in contact? I know you mentioned you had a group chat with a couple guys.
Yeah. I would say we stay in contact a lot. It depends on the players. Because me and John, we work out with each other 3 times a week. So we stay in contact all the time. But now that Jalen committed, I know we'll stay in contact all the time. Checking up on each other, make sure we all working, staying safe.
When Naheem, I would say recommitted, since he always was committed. You guys moved up to the number 1 class. Then Worley comes in and further cements the number 1 class. Is there someone else we should be looking out for soon? I know you keep in touch with Ryan Otumbo every now and then. Is there any other guys? You don't have to say any names, but is there anyone else we should be looking out for?
I don't think so. I think we got a great 5 that we can work with, but anything can happen. So y'all can stay woke though. Stay woke. We might have something to come.
Oh my, I like that. This class is absolutely nuts, and I sent you, or we tagged you in a video. Our guy Adam does a phenomenal job on doing some commitment videos, edits, and then hype videos. He put up a video of you guys, of y'all's class after Worley committed, and you texted me, Natty.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I mean, you felt pretty hot after that situation. You feel like this class is pretty stacked, and I can go ahead and put my money down. Can I start betting, Bryce, right now that 21 class is going to bring a natty to FSU?
Can you start? I would say you can. I mean, I wouldn't. I'm staying confident in my team, my guys. But yes, sir, definitely. But yeah, we just got to continue to work as a team, and we'll be fair.
Do you have any goals for this upcoming season for you to get better at and work on anything technically or anything on that front?
Yes. I'm looking forward to, we've been a top 10 team in the country this year, preseason top 10 at Legacy. So I'm looking forward to, playing against the top teams, earning our stripes, showing everyone we can do. Winning Geico. Was it Geico or did they change the name?
Is it the Gatorade player? Which one is it? Is it the?
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to winning Gatorade Player of the Year, but I got to continue to work. So Gatorade, just picking up on little things with Coach BJ at Legacy and the rest of the coaching staff. Yeah, just competing. And Jordan Brand, McDonald's All American, Allen Iverson Classic. Yeah, so I'm just working towards that.
It's a lot. That's a lot to work on, and I think you can get it done. I think you got a good mentality for it, for sure.
Definitely.
Well, I think that's pretty much everything, unless Austin or Dustin have anything else.
I'm just hoping he doesn't like the Gatorade player of the year too much. Not too much Gatorade going on in Tallahassee.
Powerade only. Powerade only in Tallahassee.
Cool. I'm chill with that.
But yeah, I think that's pretty much gonna do it, Bryce. We really appreciate you coming on here.
Definitely, thank you.
Yes, and really look forward and hopefully stay safe and take care of yourself too.
Definitely, y'all too. And if y'all have any more questions or anything, y'all can ask me at any time.
And now we're back after the Bryce interview. Really enjoyed having him come on and speak about Leonard Hamilton, also the class that he's surrounded with. And there's a bright future for Florida State. Why is Dustin laughing?
Just move on.
This is our first time trying this through Discord, recording live in front of people. So just give me a week or two, okay? You don't have to do anything but just sit there, chew on your fingers, and watch NBA basketball on your other screen, okay? And you don't even have to edit this and stay up until 1 a.m. Thank you. All right, so let's jump into some basketball. Austin, you lead us away. Obviously, Florida State lands a huge commitment, and you had been predicting this. 5-star Jalen Worley has selected Florida State over Michigan and Virginia. Tell me about it.
Yeah, Jalen Worley, 5-star from Pennsylvania. I mean, it was a long time coming. He was kind of being a little bit of a diva about it, going with, wearing the Virginia shirt on his Instagram and saying all these analysts think they know where I'm committing. Then literally as soon as he tweeted 3 more crystal balls come in for Florida State. It's been a long time coming that Jalen Worley was committing to Florida State. It kind of came out of nowhere, though. We just offered him in late May, and ever since then we've just been picking up steam to the point where he felt really comfortable with Coach Hamilton, felt really comfortable with Coach Jones, who was actually the lead recruiter on this. Yeah, huge pickup. Great combo guard. He's a very good scorer. He's one of those players where he's not super great at one thing and super bad at another. He's just a very good all-around player. He's good at scoring. He's great at playing the passing range, which Coach CY is going to love. He's just one of those guys you look at and go, yeah, it's a Florida State guy. Can handle the ball, can score, can pass, can defend multiple positions even. He's going to be perfect when we're switching 1 through 4. Some other big recruiting news: Josh Minot decided to commit to Memphis. That was another one that was a long time coming. He kind of models his game after Penny Hardaway, so going to play for him makes a lot of sense. And the last big recruiting news, James Graham got his list of 4, and Florida State was not a part of it, which is kind of surprising. I always thought we were kind of 3rd or 4th on that list. He's expected to go to Maryland anyways, so not too surprising.
And I also like to say, Austin, you nailed that Josh Minot prediction.
Yeah, I'm 4 for 4 right now. We were not going to talk about Jordan Riley. I just picked that he didn't go to Florida State, which is really all that matters.
How you feel about that Worley commitment, Dustin?
I feel great about it. It makes an insanely talented class even better. I mean, the type of players that Florida State is set to bring in right now in this 21 class are a complete program changer. You look at what Leonard Hamilton has been able to do with the current talent at his disposal, and it's amazing. And that development should just become even better with more talented guys coming in.
So Florida State is on a roll. We talked with Bryce earlier, but man, Leonard Hamilton is on fire right now. So can we skip to 2021? Is that available? I know Dustin.
We want to watch Scotty Barnes, right?
Oh yeah. Of course, yes. But can we get to the seasons right now and watch that, and then immediately jump into 2021, or do we have to wait? I don't know. There's got to be.
Yeah, because especially if Sarter Calhoun sticks around for another season, that 21 team's looking ridiculous.
Disgusting. Let's jump into some FSU trivia, guys, and I'm so glad that we're doing this live too in front of people, because we're really going to find out how good these guys know what the hell they're talking about.
Live trivia.
Yeah, this is live trivia, and it's going to be really, really embarrassing. I think for some of these guys, and I'm out of it. I'm just the announcer. I kind of lead these guys on, so I wish them the best of luck doing this in front of people. And I'm gonna kind of throw it back here. I think what we should do, guys. What?
Never mind. Keep going.
Okay then. I think what we'll do, I kind of want to reset the scoreboard here since we're now doing this live. We're about to jump into Patreon starting next week. And I think we should start off with our listeners here and start off 0-0. Football season's coming up. We're almost 1 month away now. This podcast will be live tomorrow, 1 month. So I say we reset 0-0. How you guys feel?
You got to reset it or it'd be a blowout.
I would blow you out. Here we go. Come on.
You would blow him. What'd you say?
No.
Oh,
no.
Come on, dude.
No.
Okay. Sorry. All right. Let's jump into it. We're gonna go into individual national award winners.
Not again.
So here's the deal. This is where it gets really interesting. The funny thing is, these guys, the last 3 months, I have asked these questions before. These guys should be able to remember where these people are selected. This is going, no, all of them have all been separate. I'm going to ask a few questions in here that I've asked you before. We'll see if you guys have good knowledge and you actually can remember a few things. So here we go, live in front of the Discord family, future Patreon members. Here we go. In 1992, and the chat can't help. You guys don't look at the chat because Austin already cheats. So nobody can say in the chat until they answer.
I'm just laughing at the chat because they're saying you need to retire from CEO.
Yeah.
After your last comment, they're done with you.
What did I say? That's what
I'm not repeating it.
In 1992, who won the Lombardi Award for the best lineman / best linebacker for Florida State? In 1992, the Lombardi Award, best lineman or best linebacker?
I'm between two.
Okay.
I think I know, but
nobody say it in chat.
Austin, do you think you know?
I'm between two.
Go. 4 seconds.
I'm gonna say Derek Brooks, but I don't think that's it.
I'm gonna say Marvin Jones.
Yeah.
Ding, ding, ding. Marvin Jones is the answer. Dustin starts off the season strong. 1-0. Look at this. The underdog, the guy that we never expected to start off the season strong, is going to have 1-0 against
Why am I the underdog?
I knew it was either Shade Tree or Brooks.
Wow. Austin takes a huge blow to start off week 1 here in front of fans, too. Let's jump in just like the what the XFL does. They interview right away after something bad or good happens. Let's jump into the bad. Austin, what do you have to say about losing to Dustin Lewis?
Listen, it's been a bad weekend. Between Ojo and now this, I'm like...
Oh, God. Those do not compare.
No, obviously Ojo... Yeah, Ojo's passing way worse.
Austin, you're just showing that you're really competitive, though.
Now chat says cancel Austin.
Yeah, now they're canceling.
Missy 50.
Dustin, how do you feel starting off 1-0?
But it feels familiar. The familiar feeling beating Austin happens every week.
Okay. Okay.
Oh man. Okay. Well, yeah, we'll see. But guys, that was our FSU trivia. Dustin takes a 1-0 lead to start off the season. We'll jump back into the trivia next week. But yeah, I think that's going to do it for the end of this podcast. Obviously, I want to address our Patreon memberships. We have 3 tiers that'll be launching starting on Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern time. The Discord has been blowing up. If you guys aren't in it yet, I highly suggest you guys go join. We now have former Knowles in here. We are in the talks of grabbing even more guys. We have Freddie Stevenson in here. And we actually have some basketball guys jumping into Jarquez Smith. And we have tons of ideas for some former Knowles jumping in, some big-time guys. We already got some confirmation of a guy that we were talking about earlier tonight. If you can take a guess, I'll give you a high five. But we have a lot of former Knowles coming in, too. So the Patreon launches tomorrow on Wednesday. Tons of really cool benefits and incentives. I think it's a lot different than any other outlet, too. We're bringing in a lot of cool features that nobody else has right now on their sites. So I'm really excited about it. But you can go to our Patreon link. We'll be tweeting that out on Wednesday. Really stoked about it. 3 tiers: Garnet, Gold, and Chief. And so that will be our Patreon. As always, you can listen to this podcast on iTunes, SoundCloud, Spotify, Google Play. If you're on iTunes, feel free to rate 5 stars and leave a review. It actually really helps a lot. I promise we're going to be reading off about 3 of them next week. It's been just a jam-packed day. But yeah, definitely appreciate everybody listening live here in the Discord. Thank you guys. It feels like Austin's canceled. I'm canceled. Dustin's been canceled throughout like the last 3 years he's been on this. So we're all canceled.
I'm still fighting with these people in the Discord.
Yeah, exactly. So Dustin has
we welcome in legendary graphic designer Adam Zawacki to the podcast. Basically, carry Logan's job.
And we do need to give a shout out. Adam just is going to go ahead and do it himself. Adam Zawacki from Canada did all the branding for our Patreon. So shout out to Adam. Killed it on the graphics. Also, he did the recruiting, the #1 class video, and a large assortment of other things. But shout out to Adam. He really deserved it. Shout out. He gets it. He gets that. He might get an NG hat too. He might get a dad hat. We'll see.
I deserve one.
Yeah.
I'd like to shout out everyone who isn't Fisher.
So I just muted. So I just muted Adam. So
I see that, bro. Bye, Adam.
No, I gotta bring him back. He's never gonna.
Anyone who's not Fisher.
And I'm
now anyone who's not Logan.
Now back to muting. Thank you guys so much for listening. You guys have a great rest of y'all's evening. Big night tomorrow. See you guys on Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Patreon gets launched. Let's do it. See you guys.
Color